Good day everyone, I am Ira Jane Saudivilla and I will be your micro teacher for today's topic. So our topic for today is all about RTI or the response to intervention for identifying students who have a physical and mental disability. And for our learning objectives, at the end of the lesson, students should be able to first is explain the key components of RTI in recognizing the students with physical and health disabilities, including comorbidity disorders. Second is applying the RTI process to analyze student cases and identify physical, health, and co-occurring disability. And lastly, show empathy and support for students with physical and health disability. So, let's move on to our lesson proper. So, RTI or response to intervention is a systematic approach used in schools to monitor students, no, in their learning, behavior, and their development. So, through RTI, no, na nalalaman na nila kung ano yung mga kakailanganin or malalaman din nila kung ano yung mga dapat needs ng kanilang student. Kasi dito makikita nila sa early screening, no? And magkakaroon din kasi sila ng mga assessment. And kapag sa assessment na yon is na-measure na nila kung ano yung needs ng bata, doon naman nila ipapasok yung tiered intervention. So, teachers can identify students who may need additional support. So now, let's move on to the types of traditional assessment. The first one is modified testing environment. So, this type of testing or assessment is very common to us because ito yung parang mga ginagawa sa atin ng mga teachers natin na magbibigay sila ng mga assessment like test, ganun, pre-test, yun. So, next is accumulations, no? It allows extended time on test, accommodates those who may need longer to complete assessment due to their disability. So, dito naman, parang yung teacher or yung mga ano natin is nagbibigay sila ng extended time. Yan. Para masagutan or matapos ng mga student yung test na binigay sa kanila kasi nga meron silang disability. So, next is assistive technology. So, dito naman is ang mga example nito is yun doon sa mga blind people. Gumagamit sila ng parang technology or mga bagay para makasunod pa rin sila. Like, meron isang parang board sila na tinatawag. Then, dahil doon, nakakasunod pa rin sila kahit hindi sila nakakita by touching the board. Yon. So, next is flexible question format. So, dito, hindi lang siya nakafocus sa multiple choice. So, meron din dito yung true or false, no? And pwede rin silang, nagbibigay rin sila ng essay type para malaman din nila kung saan pa yung dapat i-improve ng teacher. So, lastly, for the types of traditional assessment is individualized assessment plan. So, dito naman is nakakailangan na siya ng collaboration with the special education. So, nandito na yung hindi lang teacher yung magtuturo sa kanila, kundi meron ng mga profession na tutulong para maging effective yung mga assessment na ng teacher doon sa student. No? Para ma-align yung individual requirements ng mga needs. So now, let's move on to the 3 tiers of RTI or how they help to identify the students with physical and mental disability. So, napahapyawan na po ito ni Ms. Maagma, no, kung natatandaan niyo po. So, mas lang po natin yung learning natin about this sa 3 tier na yun. So, the first tier includes high quality instruction, no? So, dito nagpo-provide sila para sa mga student in general classroom, no? Na yung teacher mag-o-observe sa mga student by their academic performance, behavior, and the physical functioning through regular assessment and classroom activities. So, sa tier 2 naman is provides a target intervention for the students who show some difficulties in learning, no, sa kanilang behavior and dun sa kanilang physical task. So their progress is closely monitored to see if they need additional support. No? So for the last, which is yun nasa pinakatuktok, is the intensive and individualized intervention. So if the students continue to show some limited progress lang, this may need indicate a physical or mental disability. So dito, dapat nag-aano na sila, nagli-lead to formal assessment and possible referral to special education service. So dito, parang katulad dun sa iba na nahihirapan lang sila sa kanilang learning behavior, no? Dito sa tier 3 is parang kailangan na rin siyang, yung teacher is may help na rin yun ng mga special or mga profession doon sa ng tulong ng profession doon sa kailangan na needs ng estudyante. So, naiintindihan naman po ng lahat, no? So, now let's move on to our next topic, which is comorbidity with other disorder. So, comorbidity means that a person has two or more disability occurring at the same time. So, it is common among students with a physical or mental disability, no? So, for example, a student with learning disability may also have ADHD, anxiety, or speech or language difficulties, no? So, a student with a physical disability may also experience emotional or behavioral challenges. So, it is important to understand comorbidity because it affects, no, how students learn, behave, and the response to intervention. So, through RTI, no, educators can observe the students, no, progress and identify when multiple challenges are presented. So, recognizing comorbidity allows school to provide appropriate, individualized, and holistic support to help every children or the learner succeed their education. So here's are the example of the comorbidity. No? So first is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or that we call ADHD. No? So natapik naman to nila Miss Garalde, no? Group of Miss Garalde. Yun. So sila yung mga student or mga taong may hyperactivity or meron silang mga impulsivity, no? So next is emotional and behavioral disorder, or EBD. These are the student with chronic illnesses, no? So sometimes they also have a physical disability. Disability may also experience the depression, anxiety, and other emotional disorder. Next is speech and language disorder, no? So isa ito sa mga physical disability example. So it can also affect the speech and language development ng isang bata or ng tao. So next is autism spectrum disorder, or ASD. No, some students with physical or health disability may also be diagnosed with autism. So sila yung mga example ng bata or ng bata na hirap silang makapag-focus or wala yung ano yung attention nila sa isang bagay. So next is intellectual disability, or ID. These are the students with Down syndrome, no? So the metabolic disorder may have comorbid intellectual disability. So lastly is sensory disability, or the hearing and vision impairment. So this is also an example of a physical disability or condition, no? such as muscular dystrophy or multiple can affect sensory system. So it can lead to hearing and vision impairment. Sila yung mga may disability, mahina yung pandinig or wala silang pandinig ganun. So, meron din nitong minsan na kasabayan niya yung mga sa mata. Yan. So now let's move to the challenges in having a comorbidity with other disorder. So the first is makes identification harder. So nahihirapan yung mga natin na ma-identify kung ano yung sakit or disorder yung meron yung estudyante, lalo na kung meron itong separate effect, no? Then next is requires individualized or flexible intervention. So, ang din nito is kailangan yung mga assessment na gagawin is flexible siya sa lahat. No? Para mas kahit pa paano, meron tayong magiging gabay or magkakaroon tayo kahit konti ng hint kung ano yung mga needs nila. So next is progress monitoring should consider multiple condition together. So, ayun nga, importante talaga yung pag-monitor natin sa mga may ganong condition. So next is few studies on RTI for physical and health disability. So dito, kailangan talaga ng malalim or kahit pa paano may konti tayong alam about sa RTI, no? Para ma-distinguish natin yung isang estudyante if meron ba silang physical or health disability. So next is hard to distinguish effect of illness from learning problems. So ayun nga, hindi naman talaga madali yung pag-distinguish kung ano yung epekto ng illness na yon sa learning problems ng isang bata. So next is attendance and health variability affect assessment. So dito, maaanahan din natin sila if ayun nga yung attendance o yung pagpasok nila is hindi normal, no? Syempre magkakaroon tayo ng idea as a educator na bakit laging ganito yung estudyante natin, ganun. Ano bang problema? No? Makakapag-isip tayo doon. So now, let's move on to the best practices, no? Para natin yung mga challenges na kinakarap natin kapag may ganun tayong estudyante or natin yung ganong situation. So first is adapt screening tools to include health and physical factors. So next is ensuring accommodation are applied consistently, no? Hindi yung lang, yung kung kailan yung trip mo, ganun. Dapat na-ensure natin na yung natin is na-apply ng consistent para malaman natin if nagpo-progress ba yung learning ng isang student. So next is use a multidisciplinary team for assessment and intervention. No? So lastly, provide flexible school policy, which is the attendance, workload, and instruction delivery. So, kailangan as a educator, no, magkaroon tayo ng flexible na school policies para sa ating mga student. Hindi yung, alam mo nung may physical factor or disability yung ating student is mas lalo mo pa siyang pinipressure. Dapat hindi ganun kasi baka mamaya mag-ano yung student. So, ayun lamang po. So, that's all for my part. No? Thank you for listening and I hope you learned something about this topic. No? So, yun lamang po. Bye! Thank you!